If 2016 taught me anything, it's that even if you're an artist whose earlier outings resulted in some awful garbage, you're more than capable of turning things around and creating some decent pop tunes that are actually tolerable and you don't mind their presence on the radio waves. Look at Mike Posner. He began 2010 as the creator of one of that year's most gut-wrenching songs, where his smugness and nasally whine of a vocal delivery turned many a stomach, but roll on 6 years later and with some assistance, he was mainly responsible for a track that ultimately became my favourite hit song of last year. Another one of last year's success stories was the Chainsmokers. In 2013, they produced the diseased sewer of a song that was Selfie, and 3 years later, they come back with some rather enjoyable pop tracks, and their success just seems to be keep on trucking with the popularity with their latest release entitled Paris, which so far has peaked at number 5 in the UK. Much like the recent crop of tracks from the American DJ duo, the song primarily deals with a relationship, this one in particular involving two young people who have flown all the way to Paris in order to escape the parents of the female protagonist. This little tidbit is covered in the first 2 lines of the first verse. However, our male protagonist doesn't seem to be in the throes of the female's enjoyment, since his mind seems to be elsewhere, mainly on his previous lover, and no amount of alcohol seems to be able to shake off his feelings that he doesn't share for the person that he's currently with, someone he sees to be as destructive as he is and is mired in being as detached from reality as possible, but decides to join her for the ride, a sentiment that's covered in the song's bridge. Verse 2 sees the couple soaking in the atmosphere, smoking and engaging in atypical activity usually associated with youths, despite not exactly being satisfied with their current predicament. Whether this is because the two are mired in the past, whether they're both unsatisfied with the company that they're currently in, or whether life hasn't given them what they believe they deserve. Since these people are in their teens to early 20s, who knows? With regards to the instrumentation, it's pretty much in line with the vocal deliveries, in that everything feels too lifeless, lacks something that can even resemble energy, and a reason to really invest any time into this track at all. The preset drum beat is standard and lacks any real punch and snap. The synths drone and the multiple layers of the different tones used don't gel at all, and the electric guitar has no real presence either, and if it's not strumming the same chord in the brief musical break, then it's being drowned out entirely by the production, and what doesn't aid any of this is the choice to have the electronic effects smothered all over the vocals. On the whole, whilst I don't think that this is a terrible song by any stretch of the imagination, it isn't exactly one of the Chainsmokers' most noteworthy songs. Yeah, it's chilled enough that you can enjoy it to a degree, but objectively, it doesn't strike any sort of reaction out of me at all. Andrew Taggart sounds just as bored as usual, and Emily Warren, aka the uncredited female vocalist, has no presence, and ultimately I don't feel one way or the other about this track. It is what it is, and that's all I can really say about it, to be honest.